If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe. I've never gone in there, but the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which I could walk to very fast, Protestants tell me that it's a nightmare.
Hi, this is Jay from Monterey, California. My question today is, are such denominations of Christianity like Amish, Mennonite, would such denominations be considered idolatry considering they take rules very seriously like thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or even being non-Trinitarian depending on the particular congregation? Thank you, Rabbi.
There are many things that Amish and Mennonites share in common in their beliefs, and the doctrine of the Trinity is definitely one of them. They're both Anabaptist groups, very conservative Protestants, and while the way they dress and the way they travel might be something that's most striking, theologically, they're all standard Trinitarians. And the doctrine of the Trinity is the self-inflicted wound of the church from which the church has never recovered. And while Amish see themselves as different, certainly they dislike the Roman Catholic Church, as do Mennonites. They don't realize that the doctrine they have about the nature of God is straight out of Roman Catholicism. I am sure if there are Amish watching me now, but Amish, because of their reliance on technology, they might not be. If there was an Amish person watching me now, they would be mortified to hear that. Really, that would really deeply shock them. So they believe in a doctrine that was invented by the proto-Orthodox. The word Trinity was coined by someone who didn't really believe in the Orthodox version of the doctrine of the Trinity. He believed that the Son was subordinate to the Father. His views, the views of Tertullian, the theologian from Carthage, were not Orthodox, and he was, although revered, he was condemned. But the doctrine of the Trinity is believed by all Amish, is believed by all Mennonites, and that means they worship Jesus as God. And this might come as a surprise to you. What makes Roman Catholicism so spiritually problematic is not the presence of statues in the churches. But the problem with Roman Catholicism is that they worship Jesus as God. There are other Christian denominations I can think of that definitely abhor the doctrine of the Trinity. Christadelphians. They're generally very nice people, and they're pro-Jewish. They see in the Jew something of themselves, the one who refuses to bow to the God of Rome, to the Vatican. So you'll generally find Christadelphians to be very friendly to Jewish people. Unitarians, the same. Unitarian, don't confuse that with Unitarian Universalists. They believe in, I don't know what. They believe whatever. That's different. You know, it's funny, was last year when I was lecturing in the United States, on one of the trips, I was asked to speak at a Unitarian Universalist church. And I told them I won't speak in a church. They said, Rabbi, but we don't believe in the Trinity. We don't believe in any, and we, really admire what you do, and we don't believe. And I said, I know, but the optics on it would be horrible. So technically, I could walk into a Unitarian Universal Church. I would not, because it would send a terrible message. I have to be very careful with what I do. one other point about the Roman Catholic Church, their practice is different in different cultures. If you go to countries where there is more statue worship and it's sort of a more primitive worship, you will find that. For example, if you walked into a Roman Catholic church in São Paulo, in Brazil, it would be different than walking into a Roman Catholic church in Washington, D.C. It's different. Or a Roman Catholic church in Mexico would be different. So it really varies. But the major problem with the church, with Trinitarian churches, is precisely that. Not so much as that just adds to it. That just inflames it. And again, depending on which church, I've never gone in there, but the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which I could walk to very fast, Protestants tell me that it's a nightmare. I'm not kidding. Protestants concede that they can't stand it because it's idols and statues, and there are many different Christian denominations that control it. They have a long-standing agreement of who controls what. They frequently get into fights with each other, and Israeli soldiers have to break it up. Don't ask. So you have the Roman Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, different iterations. But the point is they're praying to statues, and there's a lot of that going on. So, but the key point is, I want you to know this one point. Listen up, Kindlech. In the Ten Commandments, the prohibition against partnership is even greater than worshiping statues. If you notice, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Exodus 20, Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher tzisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim beis avodim. I am the Lord your God, who took you out of Egypt from the house of bondage. Lo yihye lecha elihim acherim al ponai. You shall have no other gods upon my face. What is upon my face? What does that mean? Now, I know your translation will render it before me. Forget that. It says al ponai, upon my face. That's what it says in Hebrew. That's l'rabbi shutfis, which means this is the most vulgar, severe iteration of idolatry. That means you believe in the true God. That means you're married to God. All Christians believe in the true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They really believe in the Father. But in addition to that, they believe that Jesus, as a distinct person, as the second person of a triune Godhead, is God and worthy of worship and veneration, worthy of prayer, all that. The Catholics venerate Mary, and they just use the word venerate in order so it shouldn't spell bad. So they use the word venerate. So they all do that. That's the most grotesque iteration, because you're married to God. So if you're married, so an illicit relationship is much worse than just a relationship outside of marriage. Then the Torah goes on, you shall have no other statues and so on, and should not bow down to them. But that's after. The worst thing you can do is worship Hashem, the true God, which Christians do. They worship the Father as God, 100%. And that's what makes it so grotesque. It's a little counterintuitive. But they add into it Jesus. They worship Jesus as a God, as a separate, distinct person. Now, I know there's modalists. I know there are churches that hold that there's no distinction of persons. They can't work out their own New Testament because they tried to solve this. So there's a Sabellianism. Look, I don't want to take you too far. The key is that it's not the absence of statues and icons in Amish, we'll call them church houses, whatever you want to call it, praying there. The key, that's not what's important. The point is that they worship Jesus as God, and that's idolatry. And we should just hope that they would do tshuva. They happen to be very nice people, so if you spend time with them, be very gentle. They're very fine and refined people, particularly the Amish. Mennonites sometimes are. They're all Anabaptists. But when you speak to them in particular, it's not like speaking to a Southern Baptist. They're generally very fine people, very refined people. Family is very important to them. And I meet Amish and Mennonites here in Jerusalem. Some of them spend time speaking with me, and be very careful. They're not going to be obnoxious. Not all the others. They're not going to behave like Southern Baptists or Assemblies of God. They're very nice, humble, thoughtful, respectful people. Family is extremely important to these Protestant denominations in a very unique way. And there's many features about them. Anabaptist literally conveys that baptism must be performed as an adult rather than the infancy, like the rituals of the Roman Catholic Church of infancy baptism. It means more than that. So I just will say to you, if you're talking to someone who's Amish or Mennonite, be very gentle, thoughtful, respectful, and when speaking, don't talk like me. No, I'm kidding. Just be very, very, very thoughtful, because they're very sensitive. They have a respect for Jewish people in general, especially Amish do. And just be careful, because that's all they know. That's all they know. So thank you so much for your thoughtful question. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא